you willing to fight?
Help us save the Oasis.
Hey, how's it going? This is Ready Player One, the spoiler version. So if you haven't seen the movie, I recommend you watch the non-spoiler. It's already up. But if you have and you want to hear some insights, here we go. So as you know, yes, the movie is about a boy who escapes into virtual world as everyone else in the year 2045. I had to remember that. It's 2045. And that's kind of the future. Nobody really fixes the problems around them. They actually just escape from it. And they live out their fantasies. They get to be whatever avatar they want. They can be any character they want. And while they're interacting in their avatar world, in their second life, many actually compete so they can win the ultimate prize of taking over the Oasis. That's the name of the second world, because this contest was actually brought up by the creator of this virtual world, who passed away, and he put out 3 keys with clues on how to find each key and ultimately take over. It's kind of like the idea of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. One lucky child will become the new owner of everything. The boy is played by Ty Sheridan from the X-Men movies, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is coming up. And he befriends a girl named Artemis, who is actually Sam in real life. When you actually see her, I like the fact that she has what I guess society would call flaw, which is a little birthmark on her face. Not too different from the Vincent Tiberius character in Anthonyx Maximus, who has a birthmark as well. She finds it to be a flaw, and that's why she enjoys the virtual world. But, of course, the lead character sees past the flaw and sees the beauty for who she is. And, you know, it's not that huge of a birthmark either. Like, it's, you know, you gotta love Hollywood. Anyone thinks like a small scar is like the worst thing in the world, especially if it's on a woman. Of course, you have characters like H, who in real life, well, in the video game virtual world, H is this hulking guy who is very good at building things real quick and fixing vehicles in like no time. But in real life, H is actually Helen, I'd say upper 30s African American woman who is totally opposite of who the character is. And I like that. She actually turned out to be as cool of a character in the real world as she is in the virtual world. And then there are 2 other characters. I'm so sorry, I'm very bad with their names. They didn't really make that much of an impact to me. They were good. They had some good lines, but it just wasn't really focused on them. I like the nostalgia of it. I mean, nostalgia right here. I get it. Sometimes it can be a bit of a dangling carrot or a low-hanging fruit because it's like, hey, look, remember this? This happened in the 80s. This happened in the 90s. And it sounds like the movie is trying to pander, and the movie is based off the book. I did not read the book because I never heard of it until the movie came out. The story itself is actually pretty good as well. I mean, a boy who lives in squalor, he escapes into this world, but then he learns that he can't just run away from his problems. He has to fix his problems, but uses his mind to advance himself, and quickly learns that you have to enjoy the real world as much as the virtual world. It's actually a pretty good message, and the message that he learns from the creator of the virtual world Oasis is that sometimes you just have to take those chances and make the leap, something that the creator was always timid to do. It's hard for me to describe the movie. It's just a lot of action. I love some of the nostalgic in it. Like I said, they drove in a DeLorean. You had the 1960s Batmobile, a Gundam fighting a Mecha Godzilla. Come on, that was great too. T.J. Miller was kind of a villain in the movie. Can't really describe his name. I love the design. It's a villain that has a skull, torso, body, like the torso, chest, torso area is a skull, but you can see through the eyes, through the whole entire body. He's not the main villain, but he's a powerful lackey. The main villain is actually a corporate CEO that's trying to stop Ty Sheridan's Wade character from actually winning the contest because, evil CEO. But the movie is nostalgic on the 80s, and 80s is when they started coming up with the whole businessmen are evil tactic that kind of stick with us now. So that's why I let it go. As I mentioned in the non-spoiler, yeah, you get hints of Willy Wonka and a Chocolate Factory vibe mixed with Matrix and just Lawnmower Man even. Anything that is about escaping into another world and reliving that fantasy. I think one of the best scenes in the movie is when they actually go into the Shining world. Pretty much through the hotel and relive the scenes from The Shining. You see the twin girls, you see the elevator bleeding, the scary bathtub ghost woman. It was all well executed. Oh, wait a minute, huh? Interesting. It just dawned on me. H's character was falling for the bathtub woman, because H has never seen The Shining. But keeping in mind, H is Helen in real life. Okay, that's some territory that was not tapped. Well done, movie. Well done. I also like the part where at the big final climatic battle, where all the characters come out, all the avatars go after the evil corporation that's trying to take over. You have different avatars, because like I said, they dress up as different avatars. They used Chucky from the Child's Play movies as a weapon to attack. And H has downloaded him herself into the body of the Iron Giant. The two characters that I didn't think had much of an impact, but they've got themselves a Gundam armor to fight the Mecha Godzilla. It was actually a real fun scene. I don't think I've ever seen Gundam in a movie before, not an American movie. Remember, I'm more Power Rangers than Gundam or Voltron, so you have to excuse my ignorance. The villain, by the way, he is also the same guy that played bad guy in Star Wars Rogue One, and he was also Daggett in Dark Knight Rises. Of course, now we know he's typecast as the corporate asshole. Sorry, that's what he's become. Good actor. Good actor. At first, it had me a little worried with the whole, boy is being raised by his aunt and abusive uncle. Well, aunt's boyfriend. So it's like, oh, cool. Harry Potter territory. But no, they're actually destroyed, blown up real quick. So kind of a little bit of Star Wars vibe into it too, right? The movie is a little all over the place with a mix. I loved King Kong jumping in there. I love all that, all the T-Rex, the nostalgia everywhere. It's kind of a mess of a movie. And they try to throw in random characters that did not need to be in the movie, but they're there to solve a puzzle, but they don't really solve the puzzle. It's actually the main characters, but they're almost there as like a exposition. That's pretty much it. So I would say the movie is pretty good. I would recommend going to see it. I have the movie pass, so it was no skin off my back, but I'd say it would be worth the... Yeah, you know what? I would say it'd be worth the $15. I mean, you go out, you watch the movie, it's fun, it's entertaining, and you'll feel you got your money's worth. Everyone in the audience enjoyed it. They applaud when the two characters, the male and the female lead, kissed because they're that easily entertained. You're watching the spoiler version, so chances are you've seen the movie. Let me know in the comments if you agree or if not. It's directed by Steven Spielberg, and I felt it was very Spielberg-like. It had that wonderment of different elements. I notice it referenced more DC than it did Marvel. That's probably because the movie is Warner Brothers. But when you're watching the movie, and especially when they're in the Oasis virtual world, you get a feeling you're watching AI. That's how I could tell it's very Spielberg-like. So that is my spoiler version, my input about a movie with many Easter eggs on Easter. Ba-dun-dun. I'm sorry I haven't released too much of these. I'm hoping I'll do more often. Now that I got the movie pass, there's very little excuse. I've just been busy, but in the non-spoiler, I've mentioned the movies I did see, and I kind of did a quick yes, no, maybe so kind of thought of it. Just to wrap it up, Black Panther, excellent. Love the villain. Built a better idea of a superhero without being cliche like all the other superhero movies. Wrinkle in Time is cute. I loved the emotion of the young girl and Chris Pine, but the rest of it was very flushed out. Just basic, really. Game Night was funnier than I thought it would be. Directing was pretty decent, especially the cinematography where like many of the sets kind of reminded you of game pieces. Love, Simon was better than I thought it would be. I usually don't have too much patience for gay movies. Not because I don't like them, it's just because I felt they're always written badly. I can go into that one another time, but Love Actually and Call Me By Your Name, two movies that actually changed my mind about that. They were both excellent films. Call Me By Your Name, it's a little iffy on the subject matter, but it's still a good storytelling and it deserved to have gone to the Oscars. So that's a quick recap of those movies. I do plan on reviewing more movies, hopefully more often. I'm thinking by the time I do this again, it'll probably be closer to Avengers Infinity War, but I could prove myself wrong. But definitely expect Avengers Infinity War. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe. You know the routine. Happy Easter.